You want one? Is that what you said?
Alright, Cartesian coordinate system.
I thought that's what you said. You said you too.
P2 what?
P2 is an 8. P2.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, number 4 wants us to name the quadrants containing the points. So I'm going to write down all the points and then we'll just say what quadrant they're in. Point A is 1/2 and 3/2. B is -2, 0. C is -1, -2. And D is -3/2, -7/3. And if something's on the axis, we just need to say what axis it's on. So what quadrant is point A in? Quadrant 1, because both things are positive. What about B?
Quadrant, yeah.
X-axis. What about C?
Yes, quadrant 3.
Quadrant 3. And D?
Again.
I should have changed one of those so that it wasn't both in quadrant 3, but oh well. Okay, evaluate the expression. Been doing a lot of that today. 2 minus the absolute value of -2.
It just becomes 2 plus 2, right? Or no, 2 minus 2 is 0, yeah.
0. So remember, absolute value makes
Positive.
everything positive, so then 2 minus 2 would be 0. 8, -2 divided by the absolute value of -2.
It's -1. No.
-1, because we would get -2 over +2, which reduces to -1.
Is that the homework?
These are examples.
Are we gonna go over the homework?
No. I only do that if somebody has a question. Oh, I was like, helps if you read the instructions. Number 10 says to rewrite the expression without using absolute value symbols. So we have the absolute value of the square root of 5 minus 5/2.
So it'd be square root of 5 plus 5/2, right?
I'm not sure that this was actually in your notes, so I may have to tell you. If they want us to rewrite it, then it would just become 5/2 minus the square root of 5. It's just a rule that you can flip them, so anyways, don't worry about that one too much. Okay, find the distance between the points. Number 12. -5 and -17.
13. Oh no, 12.
But how do we find that?
You count the difference.
Or we can use the formula.
Oh yeah. The distance formula. So you use like x1 and y1. So it's x minus x1 plus. Oh no, x minus x2.
Wait, we're using the distance formula number line, right?
Yep, we need the distance formula for the number
y2
line.
minus y1 over
A minus
y1 minus
A minus B
y2
equals B
over
minus A.
x1 minus x2.
I thought it
That's
was
just the thing before that.
the absolute
Just the
value.
absolute value of A minus B. That's just saying those two things are equivalent. So it doesn't matter which way you write them, is all that's trying to tell you. So the absolute value of -5 minus a negative, so plus 17, would be 12. And that would be the distance between those.
No, it's squares.
How about
That's the formula.
16?
It's right there.
Negative 1, 2, and 2, negative 3. How do I find the distance between 2 points?
You do, oh, that's the distance formula. So you do y1 minus y2, or y2 minus y1, x1 minus y, x2 minus
The
x1.
square root of x.
Square root.
Well, yeah, but I was going to say square root after.
The square
You have
root
to say
of
square root first because everything goes under that.
2 minus, or 2 plus 1 squared.
No. X, y, 2 minus y
Negative
what?
3 minus 2 squared.
No, we're wrong.
Are we
There's
writing
too many
this
people
formula?
saying one thing.
So
Negative
it's a
one
square
minus
root.
two.
In parentheses,
Let's have
2 plus 1 squared.
Okay, so you're doing x first. Okay.
Yes.
Good job, Maya.
Okay, because it's minus a negative, that's why it's plus.
Plus
1 squared plus, in parentheses, negative 3 minus 2 squared.
As long as you have both x pieces and both y pieces and you do them in the same order, it doesn't really matter which one's first. That's why I was like, it's hard when like there's an x that's the same as a y value, so that's why I was trying to make sure I was doing it right. So then that gives us the square root of
3.
9
Yeah.
plus 5 squared is 25. So that's the square root of 34, and you can just leave it like that. All right, I'm currently going to skip something and come back to it because I want to do midpoint first and then come back and do... So a couple problems are going to be out of order. Just giving you a warning now. 24 says to find the midpoint of the line segment with the given endpoint. So 24, we have negative 5 and negative 17 again. So how do I find the midpoint of two numbers?
you add them under the absolute value thing. So like that, it's right.
Not absolute value.
It's like the
Negative 5 plus negative 17 over 2.
Which is what? Like, what is that equal to?
11. Or negative 11.
Nope, negative 11. $28, 5, negative 2, and negative 1, negative 4. How do I find the midpoint of that? And what form should my midpoint be written in?
minus 1
Or, yeah.
over 2.
And then
And
negative 2
minus 2.
What form does this answer get written in? The, as a what?
As a point.
Yep, as an xy coordinate. So then that ends up being the point 2, negative 3. All right, any questions about those before we get into something a little bit more difficult? These are like everyone's least favorite problems. Even though they're not that hard, they're just very time consuming. So these problems give you several points, 3 to 4 points, and they want you to find the area and perimeter of the figure that's made up of those points. So this is why I said we're going out of order. We're going back now to number 20. We have the points negative 2, negative 2, negative 2, 2, 2, 2, and 2, negative 2. Now, I don't require you to graph them, but it is very wise to graph them. So that's what I'm going to do first, is set up a little coordinate plane here and graph them. So I'm going to call these points in order A, B, C, D. So point A at negative 2, negative 2 is down here. B at negative 2, 2 is up here. C is at 2, 2. And D is 2, negative 2. So what shape is that? A square. Meaning what about the sides?
Yeah, it's equal.
All the sides are equal. So when I do these, what I have to do is I have to find the distance between two of the points. Okay? Obviously, don't go find the distance between A and C because that's not going to be helpful. Okay? Find the distance between something that is touching. Okay? So, which ones do y'all want to do? Or which 2 points do you want to use? A and D. Sounds good. So, I need to do the distance formula for A to D. And so what would that be under the square root?
-2 plus 2, or minus 2. No, it's plus, my bad. Plus 2 squared plus -2 minus 2 squared.
And what is that going to end up giving me?
Yeah.
Square root of
Square root
16 is
16,
4. So that's the distance. Okay, now, because I graphed it, I know for a fact that that's a square, right? Okay, if we weren't 100% sure, then you would need to do, like, since you did A to D, you would also need to do, like, C to D to make sure that they are equal. But we can tell because we graphed it that it's a square. So what is the perimeter of a square?
2L, 2L plus 2Y. Or is it that area?
The perimeter is just adding up all
Length
the
plus
sides.
width, yeah.
Yep. Add all the sides. If all the sides are the same, it would be what? 4 times the side length, right? So in this case, 4 times 4, which is 16. So that would be the perimeter value. What is the area of a square?
Side times side.
Yep. Side squared, which is 4 squared. So this one happens to be that they both come out to be the same. Obviously, that doesn't always happen. Just as a refresher, because we're not doing one that's a triangle, but if we had a triangle, what is the perimeter, or not perimeter, area of a triangle?
1/2 base times height.
1/2 base times height, because you will need that for a homework problem. 22. We have the points -2, 1, -2, 6, 4, 6, and 4, 1. So I'm going to start out, again, graphing these so that I can visualize it. So, and I'm going to call these again in order A, B, C, D. So A is at -2, 1. I don't know why I went in the negative direction. I don't know why, but it's fine. B is negative 2, 6. C is 4, 6. And D is 4, 1. What shape is this?
Rectangle.
Rectangle. So that means I need to find the distance of two sides, okay? I either need to find A to B or C to D, and then also B to C or A to D. So which one do you want to do first?
A to B.
A to B. So the distance of A to B would be what? Square root of
Minus 2 square.
Plus.
Plus 1.
I think something's wrong.
It's plus 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's minus a negative, so it'd be plus.
Oh.
And then 1 minus 6. Squared.
So negative 2 plus 2 is obviously 0. So then 1 minus 6 is negative 5 squared is 25. So this side length is going to be
Square root of 40.
5.
Wait, oh.
Right?
Yeah, I fixed it, but I fixed my papers, then I started.
Oh, I was like, what?
Sorry about that.
All right, so that was A to B. So we either need to do B to C or A to D. Which one do y'all want to do?
What'd you say? A to B or C to D? C to D. Or B to C.
B to C. So distance between B to C is square root of.
Oh, it's square root of the side divided by 2, right? So, oh wait, what are we trying to find? The area?
Distance.
Minus 4.
Square. Plus.
6 minus 6.
Square. Right.
So that one's going to 0. This one over here, negative 6 squared.
6.
It's 36, so that ends up just being 6. So now I have side length is 5 and this side length is 6. How do I find the perimeter of a rectangle?
2 length times 2 length.
Yep, 2L plus 2W. So 2 times 6 plus 2 times 5, which gives me what?
22.
22. And then area,
2 length times width.
yep, length times width. So 5 times 6, 30. Any questions on those? On occasion, sometimes they give you one that's like really, really weird, or that may not be a shape that you are familiar with. There's one, I don't remember if it's in this part or if it's in one of the review questions, like at the end of the chapter, that ends up being a trapezoid. But I'm not going to give you one like that on the test. So, but without like me graphing the points, I don't always recognize which one it is without doing that. So, or they may give you a rectangle that's like crooked. So you may have to do more than just the two sides if you're not 100% sure what the shape is. Okay. One other thing that we need to do is a scatter plot. Okay? And we are just going to do this by hand because this isn't a hard one. So this is number 30. They say the total number of motor vehicles in thousands produced in the world each year from 2001 to 2007 is given in the table. And they give us this table. It's an XY table. In 2000, they start 2001 to 2007. No, it's like. And then for the Y values going across, it's 57,705, 59,587, 61,562, 65,654, 67,892, 70,992, and 74,647.
I did this all before I was born. It's kind of crazy.
Y'all weren't born in 2007.
Oh,
Who's
I was
from
born in 2008.
No.
That's so weird for me to think about.
I know. Wait, who here was born in 2008? I was. All of you? Who you?
Yeah, think about I was born in 97.
She was born in 2007. Why aren't you?
My sister was born in 97.
The cutoff is August.
September.
This is up
My
now.
friends is December.
Interesting.
So I had people in my class who were born December 31st.
Well, there was a kid in our class last year, Silas, was
It's
born in
crazy.
December, but he was just really smart, so
So
he
you
tested
skipped
it
a
up.
grade.
He skipped a grade?
I didn't know that.
All right, for the scatter plot, gonna set it up like
I
this.
knew it said.
Yeah, he was in my elementary
Fuji.
class.
Advance.
Does that
He's
make
not here.
You're serious.
No, he went to Achilles. He was in my class. He was in like a different class.
He went to your school?
Who?
Why did you just tell us?
Yeah, why did he
You learn new stuff every day.
Yeah.
Well, I
Silas.
didn't
And him went
recognize
to like
him.
the same elementary school.
Yeah, I didn't recognize him, but he came up to me.
He recognized you?
I was not.
Embarrassing.
All right, so on the bottom, on the x-axis, okay, because these are the x values, we're gonna put each of those years down here at the bottom.
Got too many years.
And we need to put labels on the axis so that we know what we're talking about. So the y-axis is in the x-axis is in years. The y-axis is the number of motor vehicles. Now, my first number is 57,000 something, right? So I don't want to have to sit here and write out
1, 2, 3.
either every 1,000 or also I really don't want to sit here and even write out every 5 up to that point. So what you can do is you can do this little squiggly line thingy, which just says, it's kind of like, you know, when you do like the 1, 2, skip a few, 99, 100, it's kind of like that. So basically we say zeros here, skip a few, and I'm going to start at 55, and I'm going to put a little K for 1,000. And then I'm going to count it by 5s until I get up to 75,000, and I'm going to stop. So then we're going to roughly plot each point, okay, because it is a scatter plot, so we're just doing it as best as possible. And so you'll go in here, and at 2001, we're at 57,705, so just go a little bit above and plot the point. 2002, I'm going to go just a little bit below the 60,000 marker, plot that point. 2003, I'm going to go a little bit above it. 2004 is just a little bit above the 65,000 marker. 2005 is about halfway between. 2006 is a little bit above the 70,000 marker. And then 2007 is almost all the way up to the 75,000 marker. And that's your scatter plot. The most important thing, do not connect the dots. You connect the dots, it is wrong. This is a scatter plot. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Then your problems are three, 5.
Wait, are we supposed to not have homework on Wednesdays?
It's a college class. But you also have 20 minutes left of class, so you should be able to get it done. Have 20 minutes left of class. No, 15. I lied. What class is this? I'm used to this being third period. You have 15 minutes left.
Hey, no.
11, 13, 19, 25, and 29.
69 now, but technically what I was
Well, we got some reviews.
And what page is it?
It's section P2.
Just page 2?
No, section P2. You need to find the section. When you find the section, you find the page. That's what I do.